Okay, this lesson is about finding the equations of parallel lines. Sometimes it's finding the equation of any parallel line. Sometimes it's about finding a specific parallel line that goes through a given point. We ought to note that parallel lines have the same gradient. They never touch, they run alongside each other, so the gradients of the lines will be the same. And in order to ensure that the gradients of the lines are the same, the key point is, as it says here, keep the number of x and y the same and simply change the constant. That's the number of y, that's the number of x, keep them the same. This is the constant here, we just change the constant. So 2y and 3x must stay the same, and then we can just choose any number other than 2, and that will give us a different but parallel line. So any number on the end of that equation, even if you left it as 2y equals 3x, that would be fine. Okay, as long as you don't have plus 2 on the end, because if you have plus 2 it would be the same line. Anything which is not plus 2 will be a parallel line because you've kept the y's and x's the same. Here's the second equation. Those are the y's, those are the x's, keep them the same. And now anything which isn't plus 1, anything at all, y equals 2x, y equals 2x plus 10, anything other than plus 1, and you've got yourself a parallel line. Example number 3, those are the y's, those are the x's, keep them the same, change the constant is subtract 2, so anything other than subtract 2, okay, and that will give you a parallel line. And in example number 4, we've got 2y and plus 3x, so we keep that the same. 2y plus 3x equals, well, it equals, we just need to change the number. That number's a 5, so it can equal anything other than 5. Anything other than 5 will give you a parallel line. In these examples, we're not looking for just any parallel line now. We're looking for a specific line that goes through a point that is being given to us. So here's our example. There's the line y equals 4x subtract 1. And here's the point that the parallel line has to go through. First up, as before, those are the y's, those are the x's, keep them the same. So our line will begin y equals 4x. Now, for the number, we have to use this information here, that when x is 2, y equals 3 on this parallel line. So we substitute the values of y is 3 and x equals 2 into our equation. So y now becomes 3 because y equals 3, and 4x has now become 4 times 2 because x is 2. So that's the y value of 3, that's the x value of 2 substituted in. And that gives us 3 equals 8, which clearly it doesn't. We need to do something to balance up this equation. 3 equals 8. What do we need to balance it up? We need to subtract 5. So now 3 equals 8 subtract 5 is correct, and therefore subtract 5 is our constant. And therefore the equation of the line is y equals 4x subtract 5. Here's example number 2. Once again, there is the equation of the line. We need a parallel line to that passes through the point 1, negative 2. So our line must have 2y equals 4x in it. So that's how the line will begin, 2y equals 4x. We now use the information that when x is 1, y is negative 2. And we substitute those values into the bit of the line or the part of the equation of the line that we have at the moment. So 2y becomes 2 times negative 2 because y is negative 2, and 4x becomes 4 times 1 because x is 1. Now, that gives us 2 times negative, that gives us negative 4 equals 4, which clearly it doesn't. So what do we need to do over here to balance up this equation? Negative 4 equals 4. We need to subtract something to this right-hand side, or from this right-hand side, to give us negative 4. And in actual fact, we have to subtract 8. So let's just check that. 4 subtract 8 is negative 4. That is correct now. And therefore our equation is 2y equals 4x subtract 8. And lastly, example number 3, we've got 3y plus 2x in our equation that's given to us. So we need to have 3y plus 2x in our parallel equation. But our equation won't equal 10 because we need to use the fact that our line has to pass through the point 1, 3, as in when x is 1, y is 3. So we substitute those values of 1 and 3 into our equation. 3 times y becomes 3 times 3. 2 times x becomes 2 times 1. And now that left-hand side is 9 plus 2. Well, 9 plus 2 has to equal 11. So our final equation is 3y plus 2x equals 11. And that's how you find the equation of a parallel line through a given point. You look at the original line and keep the x and y's exactly the same, and you substitute in the given x and y values from the coordinate in order to find the constant.